nerds! It's Geeks of Cascadia. Geeks of Cascadia. Geeks of Cascadia. Exclusive tabletop game podcast for the Pacific Northwest. All levels of gamers. Analog gaming. Tabletop news. Dungeons and Dragons and magic.
Stupid, mindless bet.
There will definitely be some bet. That's probably our best. That's our best.
Blue Samurai here. I am with.
Still Paul.
Guess what? It's a special podcast that we're doing for the Orcacon convention, which is Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
The 7th, 8th, and 9th, I believe.
Yes, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And we are right here in the Bellevue Hilton.
Yes.
And we are really excited because we're going to be here all 3 days.
Yes.
And we are here to report on the first day, Friday. So hopefully you are listening to us as you're driving here, or you're getting up in the morning and brushing your teeth, or maybe you're on the treadmill and you're thinking to yourself, what am I going to do?
I need to play some board games.
Yeah.
I play some board games.
Or you can check out the other cool stuff that's happening here. We got panels. With some folks, Tanya DePass is going to be here, Omega Jones. Who else do we got on the panels?
I honestly don't know.
Well, you know, the great thing is, all you got to do is go to orcacon.org.
And click the sketch thing.
Yep. And it will come right up. Also, we've got some food trucks throughout the convention, so you can check that out. So we'll make sure that you get fed. And, of course, tons of games. We have an extensive game library here.
Oh, let's talk about the extensive game library that we just moved out of that U-Haul truck.
Oh, yeah.
I am so tired.
Paul's really tired.
That was a lot of heavy lifting.
Me? Well.
I got to carry the giant Star Trek Catan that was donated from Catan. That was really, really heavy, so please come and play it.
Yes. Paul likes to lift with his back, not with his legs. But, you know what? What's great about the Orcacon, though, is they've got a great bar. So you can go ahead and drink your pain away, I guess. But the food is amazing.
It's really, really good.
Yes. Yes. And, of course, games. Just tons of games.
And food trucks.
Lot of opportunity here. You check out the schedule, and you'll see all the games that are going to be played here. We got a pretty good and robust merchant hall. So
we got tons of free play space.
Mm-hmm. So come on down. And one thing that we want to stress to you all, because still Paul and myself, we've been doing this. We've been going to conventions quite a bit.
Yeah.
I've been to big conventions, small conventions. The best thing to do is actually get a hotel room at the convention, just because, you know, you're enjoying yourself.
But you have to let them know that you're here for the convention.
Yes.
And you get the convention room rate.
Yes. But get a room.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to worry about, oh man, I'm going to be too tired to drive home, or maybe you've had a couple of drinks while you've been playing the game.
An apple teeny.
Yeah. And just play it safe. Play it safe. Go ahead and get a room here.
It's not worth a $10,000 ticket.
No, it's not, or whatever the price is.
Yes, I don't know. That's what the advertisement said.
So
I've never had one of those tickets.
Yeah, so get a room. We encourage you to do that. And also what is happening here, what I love about Orcacon and conventions like this, is you get to peek into the development of a new tabletop game. Playtest Northwest will be here with new and upcoming game designers. They'll be having their games, and who knows, it might be the next Dominion.
It might
be the next Magic the Gathering. Who knows? You're going to meet these game designers, and you're going to play their game as their game testing, and next thing you know, it's on Kickstarter, and it made it big. And why did it make it big? Because you came here and played it.
And they're all at varying stages.
Yes.
So it's super interesting to see how games grow when there's one guy with 3x5 cards and things scribbled on them, and there's another guy with a game that looks done completely.
Right. Speaking of which, I think we know somebody in Playtest Northwest.
Do we? Is it Nicole?
It is Nicole.
I love Nicole.
And we interviewed Nicole back at Dragonflight, and so what we're going to do is we're going to play a little bit about that, so you get to know her and Playtest Northwest and some opportunities for you all when you come to Orcacon to play some games.
Yeah, and when we come back from that, we're going to tell you about the things that are going on Friday.
That's right, so that you will have options and you'll be prepared knowing exactly what you're going to do when you come here to Orcacon.
Yes.
So with that, let's see what the interview is.
Yeah.
Hey geeks, guess who we have here? We have Nicole with Playtest Northwest. Yay! Nicole, how you doing?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good.
Is it good that you're getting to be in the con circuit again and actually see people?
Yes, I feel like the sore throat is already happening just because I've been talking so much.
Oh, that is wonderful. So, those of you out there, I know if you don't know about Playtest Northwest, we got a previous episode. You can go check that out. But Nicole, what can you do a quick elevator pitch about what Playtest Northwest is?
Yes, beyond being a tongue twister, and especially when we're in masks and stuff. Playtest Northwest is an organization started about 2015. It's kind of run and organized by local indie game designers. And we just organize a bunch of playtesting events around the Washington, Oregon kind of areas, and mostly to help indie game designers get their games tested. So we have a lot of tables here at Dragonflight, for example, that we just kind of like have people drop in and test different games that are at the prototype stage, and then we support them with like prize support or sharing about the events and such, and that's what we do.
So since the last we talked to you, what have been the gems that have come out so far from the last time?
Oh, I like that you're sticking with the positive too.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the last time we talked was 2019 of this convention, I want to say. I think that is the last time we actually did Dragonflight. Cuz our last in-person convention before today was Orcacon 2020. And so it's been a tick. But the gems that really came out of it, I had a number of great game designers and organizers that really stepped up to help me and the organization adjust to digital tools. So, like most people, we went to digital playtesting, set up a Discord, are testing games through Tabletop Simulator and Tabletopia, and also started a Twitch stream on Tuesdays where we kind of interview people, we play games, we kind of do a bunch of random stuff, but it's mostly a way that we kept engaged with the community that we couldn't see in person for a whole year and a half. And it was a great way to still connect with people in chat and such. So I just want to give a big shout out to Bo, who's been helping me run the Twitch and Discord. We also have a number of game designers, Mark, Quinn, Daniel, Courtney, Derek. There's so many people, but they're the ones that kind of stepped up and kept playtesting with us in this new format.
That is wonderful, and it's so nice to have a place where, if you're a game designer, you don't know what to do, right? A lot you have this idea, but you don't know where to go, and at least it allows you to talk to other people too, not just test your games. Because I've talked to some of your game designers that have went through it. It's just nice that it's not just a place to test games, but actually meet other game designers.
Yeah, exactly. Like that Discord has been great for that, and that's actually another gem is, where there's there's Playtest Northwest in the title, but when we move to Discord and are in like these digital communities, we aren't limited by region anymore. So we've been actually meeting a ton of awesome game designers that don't even live anywhere near us. That we've been playing their games, we've been beating them, and I think the hope is that in future in-person conventions we'll meet them.
Northeast and maybe the Playtest Southwest.
I mean, it definitely has me thinking about changing names, but I don't know, like logo and name redesign is something I don't really want to think about. There's so many other things that we have to do first and want to plan for.
So if I'm a game developer and I get with you guys and people are playing my games today, my prototype games, how long do game developers stay with you, or is it just kind of one and done? Or I don't think you kick anyone out, but you know what I'm saying? Like then they get some feedback and they tweak their games. Do they come back to you again, or how long does that process last for the average game developer?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, okay. I like that question. And it is kind of personal depending on kind of what people need for their game, what stage. Yeah. I would say most people stick around from like a year to 2 years. Okay. I think ideally longer than that. I think we try and give, especially the conventions, we want to give time to the games that are kind of up and coming and are new. And if you have a lot of games that have been there year after year, it can be, especially for the playtesters that are repeats that show up, they're kind of looking for new games anyways. So once you're at the kind of more than 2-year mark, you may not see them at conventions as much, but we like play test them in game stores a lot.
Do you folks, your company help give them feedback, or do you just facilitate the venue and getting them players to play their games, or do you guys actually be like, I think you should do this and this and this? Like, do you offer your advice to them also, or are you just kind of a framework for them?
Yeah. I would say we're definitely more of a like facilitating. We try to give kind of like bigger vision feedback to the designers on maybe what they're looking for, as far as like if you're making a card game and you don't know if you're going to like, self-publish it or give it to like a publisher. I think we ask designers what their goals are and what the questions are to help kind of guide them on what they want to do and what they kind of expect with their game. Because I'm definitely open towards like kind of giving like mentoring and advice on like what people can do with their game. I don't necessarily like give them professional like very specific professional guidance. I just kind of answer some questions like if you want to get your game out there and you want it on shelves and such, like how do you want to do that? Do you want to give it to a publisher or pitch it to a publisher and they are responsible for all of that? If you end up doing that, that's great, but then maybe they want to maybe change the theme of it. Maybe they have a little bit more of the business decisions on it. And if that's not okay with you, if you want to publish your game as is, you may want to try to do like the self-publishing route, that kind of thing. So we mostly facilitate the play testing at events so people can get feedback on what they want to do and how they want to build their game.
So you're kind of like the guidance counselors in the College of Gaming.
Yeah, okay. A counselor, yeah, guidance counselor. I like that. I like that idea. And yeah, pretty much, because we've, myself and actually a number of the designers that still stick around, whether they end up being organizers or we have a number that just keep bringing new games that they're working on because they've been either successfully published or they want to move on to a different type of game after playtesting. They found out maybe it doesn't work as well, They kind of stick around and they have like this really good guidance counseling to them where they can explain like what their experiences were like to new people who show up. And that's one thing I'll mention is we definitely have a lot of new people showing up lately. Seattle's had an influx of people moving here for jobs or what have you. And a lot of them want to like playing games. And so they want to get connected into the local community. Or, it's been 2 years, so people are maybe been playing more games and are now designing games. And now they want to figure out what do I do next. So we're kind of always at that stage where we're meeting people when they're first getting into it. And kind of, again, guiding them on what to do next.
I was wondering how the pandemic affected that. I feel like people must be playing tons more games, right?
Tons more games.
Geez, that's, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's what I got. Sam,
I also think it's super cool for people, because you need playtesters, people who aren't designers, of all levels of skills, right? Because I'm not good at learning games. I need someone to teach me games. I'm one of those. There's a lot of people who don't need that at all. They just learn. This is a good way to get experience with that. And also, we've talked to some game designers who started out playtesting with their friends and family, who weren't always as honest as they should be.
Exactly.
So you really need people to be honest. Like, but if you think this is broken, tell me. So it's also great for that. It's one of my favorite things to do. If I would have had time today, I would have done some playtesting.
Oh, we got more tomorrow.
And so this is it mostly just board games? Have you had people come in with an RPG type game, or is it what's the
we got
composition usually?
Big range.
Okay.
I will definitely say digitally that we've tested the last year or so, it's mostly been strategy games. But the good thing is, another pivot that people have done is try to do other games that maybe are more accessible to digital playing. So we actually have had a group, they were the designers on For All Mankind, which is actually here at Dragonflight, but they have pivoted and worked on some app-based games. They actually had kind of an Uno-inspired workout game that we had play-tested a lot over Tabletop Simulator. So you would do things like, do different, like certain actions and stuff, like jumping jacks, things like that, and you'd pass them on to other players. It was a really clever game, and that we could test digitally. But they're kind of, started their app company and are working on digital games. And so we've tested those as well. And we do get the occasional RPGs. We actually have one testing this weekend also. The Fool's Journey is pretty new. We've tested it at a few events lately, but it's kind of a tarot-based RPG system, and it's kind of set in a fantasy world. But I would say a majority of our games are going to fall in kind of the more like casual family card game, board game, and then kind of go up to the strategy, like 1 to 2 hour like hobby type game. But we will get outliers of other games, and that kind of keeps things fresh and interesting around here.
So what if somebody had an idea? Let's say I have an idea for an expansion for a particular existing game, or maybe perhaps using the open license for D&D. It's like, I made this campaign and I want to put on the DM's Guild, but I need to test it out. Is this a place that you can go to on that?
I think you can. I think we're definitely open to people doing that. And actually, it's funny you bring that up because we have a designer that's playtesting Mana Surge Redo. Is kind of I believe it's the working title, but Mana Surge was a game that was published by Daily Magic Games a while back, and then this is kind of like an updated version that the designer is testing. And I think we've tested, I don't know if we've tested modules, but we've definitely tested other people's like expansions. I want to say maybe someone made like some kind of terraforming Mars like thing that they were trying to test out. And honestly, it's all open because it's all kind of like at the testing phase.
Right.
So we're down for anything.
And let's say you have a game designer, they've went through the testing and all that, and is it a place where they can ask for advice? Like, how am I gonna? I don't know how to market this. I don't know if I should go to Kickstarter, or if I should go to a game designer, or not game designer, like a company, and present it to them. Do you give them advice on that as well, or do you allow them through the networking of being in Playtest Northwest? They kind of have to just kind of reach out to different people they've met.
Yeah, it's kind of like with answering Rebecca's question also, we definitely facilitate a lot, but we don't necessarily give like very specific advice. I would say this is the same case where I'm happy to kind of mentor people through some of the questions that they may have on what next things they should do after play testing. We don't have anything like really concrete in place. But like you said, the good thing is we have networked with a lot of people, and so if I don't know, I usually will pass them along to like good connections, or maybe good things that they can start with. Like if you are trying to get your game picked up by a small publisher, and ideally it seems great for Kickstarter because you already contracted art and stuff, and it seems ready to go. Then like maybe it's worth looking at certain Kickstarters or game companies that have games with a similar art style or type of complexity of gameplay, and maybe kind of like narrowing your kind of like field of who you're pitching to, because and like you said, continue to connect people to places that they can pitch their game at. I will say that's another gem of people playtesting and doing conventions online, is I've actually seen that it's easier. Well, it's more accessible to get to publishers if you have your game digitally. If they're hanging around in certain discords of conventions, you can showcase your game easier, more easily, without having to do the whole like I fly to a convention, I do the hotel room, I book a time to demo it for them. I have to have the physical prototype. So there's a lot of great things that I think come with just kind of getting out there and finding other communities, not just ours, but kind of networking with a bunch of different people, because it is a pretty small community once you get to like tabletop game design. And then if it's like tabletop game design of the West Coast, there's a lot of people in that community, and so getting to know all of them I think is beneficial.
I have a silly question that's more of a trivia question, I guess.
Okay, shoot.
So of course I grew up with Milton Bradley and I don't know, Hasbro and those types of things. Not too many expansion packs on Twister or any of that. So do you think that there are more of these? So many games, so many gamers and game creators. Do you think games are represented more by independent or smaller companies now than these big guys? I don't even know if these big guys still exist. Milton Bradley still exists. I don't even know.
Oh yeah. They still exist because if you go to the big box stores, like that's where all the games are at.
That's what people might route they might want to take if they don't want to deal with all the, business side of things. If they just want to make their game and get their game out there, that might actually be a route they're interested in. But yeah, I guess I just wondered like how many percentage of games out in the world right now are like.
That is quite that's quite a trivia question. I can't give you a percentage. I'm not good with percentages.
I feel like when you're in an environment like this, it just feels like there just must be all games like this, brought about by new creators and developers, and you just don't see any of the mainstream games around. Although I did see a version of a Monopoly thing out there in the front lobby, but.
Yeah, it's interesting. I again, can't give percentage necessarily, but I think it really is about like the audience you're trying to reach. When you go to these conventions that are a little bit more based on like hobby and strategy games, this is the audience that you're trying to reach if you're making one of those games. And so I've definitely seen like kind of a growth of the number and maybe like size as far as like the number of games they're producing in some of these, quote unquote smaller or medium-sized companies. And just with the creation of new studios recently, the one that comes to mind is like, Critical Role is putting together their own publishing house. The Darrington Press, I think is what it's called, and they published their first game. And so you definitely see more places doing it. I think that comes with a big asterisk, though, because with the whole kind of like issues with shipping and global shipping right now, and a lot of the just additional costs and time that's causing, it's definitely something that is really hurting smaller businesses a lot. And so I worry about that, but in the meantime, in the growth that it has happened in the last few years, I've definitely seen more indie smaller publishers popping up, and a lot of them have such a big fan base in kind of like this hobby community that they can be sustained by those people buying their games. I mean, on the back end, on what the business is to get the games over here, or with other publishing costs, I don't know. But as far as like finding your audience, like there's definitely like a ravenous amount of audience here that wants to support those games. And so with so many of those companies still around, I think there are like a lot more indie games that are specifically targeted for this audience and made for them, and they're getting supported in addition.
So can you give us maybe a recent example of one of the folks that went through Playtest Northwest, and now they maybe there's a game that maybe we've seen, or they did really well on Kickstarter? Do you have a story?
I do. I have a couple stories.
Oh, okay, good.
Really kind of.
Give us the big one.
The big one. Okay,
Yeah.
The big one is really Flat Out Games. You've probably come across them before, and they have actually created their own, a number of their own like playtesting communities, outside of Playtest Northwest. But they'll pop into our tables, especially in the previous 3 years, at like PAX or Emerald City and Dragonflight and such. And they're just a joy to play test with because they have so many awesome ideas, and they're pulling them from a lot of different game designers, and they're kind of helping them. They're definitely a group that's helping designers more through like the business process and the production process, and kind of do that. What do you call that? Like in tangent with them. And so Cascadia, I think, is one of the more recent examples of one that had tested at a lot of our tables, I think in 2018, 2019 maybe. And then later that year went on to Kickstarter, blew up on Kickstarter. It's one that was illustrated by Beth Sobel.
That game. Beautiful.
We actually have a prize. One of our prizes today is the Cascadia game itself.
Cool.
Because it has been successfully fulfilled. I want to say it was earlier this year. But the designer, Randy Flynn, I think he's the lead designer on it, and Flat Out, they have a number of people a collab of people that they bring to help work on the game. But that game, again, blew up on Kickstarter. People love it. It's all over Twitter and a lot of the indie and hobby channels. And what's so great is it's focused on the Pacific Northwest, It's about, it's this kind of like tile laying, pattern making game of like building certain habitats for these animals of the Pacific Northwest.
I mentioned that one. once in one of our podcasts, given that
you
we're
did.
Yeah.
Cascadia.
It must be nice to see that, having, watching a game designer go in there try to struggle. It's difficult already for a game designer. And then
what? If you're like a student or
like
something.
a
and watching
baby,
them
like a
blossom.
baby who's
Yes.
grown up.
Yeah, that's why I'm still here. I definitely say it's not easy to kind of like juggle both this and working as a full-time producer at Funko Games, because it definitely keeps me busy. But it's really about the community and the people, and kind of like wanting to mentor and help people succeed in the game that they're trying to make. And I can tell you, even in the last like year and a half of digital testing, there are a lot of games that found their niche and found their rhythm and play tested through the pandemic, and that are now coming out into these physical spaces. I have to say that, like in-person spaces that are finding success. So we have a game that tested today, and it will be back on Sunday. Treat Please by Courtney. You may have seen it. It's an adorable game about taking on the role of a dog, trying to get affection from the human. You do very dog things. So if you're a dog lover, have a pet, it's very relatable.
That sounds right up my alley.
Well, it's so nice that you provide this. In a sense, it's a community. You've built this community, allowing for some up-and-coming game designer who has no idea what to do to not only play test their games, but actually, reach out to other game designers and ask questions like things like, "Hey, I don't know how to do my art." I remember we interviewed one person that was went through Playtest Northwest, and all they had is 3x5 cards, and they talked to other people on how to get the art, and the complexities of, great, you got a game, you get the art. Now I have no idea how to make this thing, and so it's nice that you've built this community to help people out.
Yeah, and it leans on other game designers helping other game designers. Like it isn't just me, although I answer all the emails. All the emails. But we have a lot of people that are just here to help out others, and that's kind of like, it's kind of like the mission statement of Playtest Northwest, is the idea that you, as a game designer, you're trying to work on your own game, but it's almost even more about you play testing other game designers' games and getting to know them and helping them through their process, because they're going to do the same for you. It's very much like this kind of like collective community. Yeah.
All right. Well,
So-
good. I'm glad I spoke to you about my
Yeah.
expansion idea for Twister. More colors, more dots, 2 spinners. I'll get with you on that.
Here you go.
So what's coming up? The next event's coming up, and how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah. So I see you over there looking at our website.
I am. Very pretty.
It is pretty. It is horribly out of date, but you can still go there. And if you go to the contact page, that's the best part, because you can sign up for our newsletter. That is what will let you know where we're going for the events. The other great place people should go to is the meetup.com/playtest Northwest, because that is where we'll put all of our events that you can RSVP to. And that includes both our in-person and digital testing. So we actually play test digitally every Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. All you have to do is have a semi-decent mic and be able to load up Tabletop Simulator with some ease, because we'll play test for at least a few hours every Sunday. And then, so after Dragonflight, we definitely, all these conventions are coming due, because we actually have a special event. We're partnering with Seattle Indies, and we're doing, I think it's called the Puddle Jump Games event, and it's happening in Fremont on November 12th. We're actually looking for some people to sign up and play some games there, but it's going to be a merging of.
Place to have it.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're going to merge both tabletop and digital games into like a weekend-long event to just have like kind of this play festival. And then, of course, the other big one, Emerald City Comic-Con, is going to kind of close out the year for us. That's happening December 2nd through 5th. It'll be, as it always is, in the convention center. And then we know as soon as we're celebrating the new year, Orcacon will be right back here at this spot.
Orcacon. Well, Nicole, thanks a lot for coming on. Really appreciate it. And again, you can contact her. Just go to Playtest Northwest. They also have a Twitter and Facebook.
Yes.
And if you are an up-and-coming game designer, hey, you know what? You need a community to help you out. So go reach out to them. And hopefully we get to talk to you again. Maybe we get to talk to you again at Orcacon. That'd be kind of cool.
Let's do it.
Take a break.
That's
Take a
right.
break.
And we're going to be testing out Rebecca's Twister expansion.
Yeah,
so that'd be
yeah,
kind
it's
of
gonna
cool.
be great.
I'm down. I'm down.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I love talking to Nicole.
Ah, she's wonderful.
It's like one of the worst things about the pandemic is not talking to Nicole because we didn't get to go to the conventions.
And the fact that we were able to talk to some of these up and coming game designers. And by the way, check out our previous podcast. You can see some of the game designers that we talked to.
Oh yeah.
And the ones coming in the future, because we got a lot of content that we're rolling out there. We're trying to do it once every 2 weeks. So
yes, things are more complicated, so sometimes it doesn't work out.
Right. And just to let you know, still Paul and I, fully vaccinated, fully boosted.
Yes.
We're following all the rules, and then of course we're in our little bubble here.
Yes,
so
this is our bubble. We have a small bubble.
And we will have, when you are out on the con floor in the convention amongst the people, amongst our fellow nerds, you got to mask up.
Yeah, and you can check out the COVID policies on orcacon.org.
Yes. But in the meantime, look, you're probably listening to me because you're thinking, what am I going to do on Friday? What am I going to do on Friday, Paul?
Well, what could you do on Friday?
Well, first of all, I'm going to come to the Bellevue Hilton.
There's Pony Expo in Vancouver.
No, but you want to come here to the Bellevue Hilton. Obviously, hopefully you're coming here on January 7th and you're not listening to this podcast in February and like, oh, wow, I screwed up. No, you're going to come here, you're going to drive here, you're going to go to the Bellevue Hilton. You're going to get a room because getting a room will increase your con enjoyment
and
by
you're
120%.
And you're going to say you're here for Orcacon.
Yes. And the first thing you're going to do is check out the panel where we welcome you all to Orcacon. So Donna Pryor, our executive director, will be there to welcome you all to Orcacon so that you know what's going on, the latest changes. So check that out. That is at noon. And then at 2 p.m., we have virtual tabletops and modular creation necessary involve use of another intellectual's property. So basically what is happening is, I'm sorry, I should have backed up there. Basically when the panel is rules, lawyers, copyrights, trademarks, and gaming. So if you've got a game in development and you want to know all the legal mumbo jumbo, check out Ethan for that in the panel room at the Redmond.
You know what? I might attend that. I was going to have this idea for a game with hexagonal tabs. We call it Settlers of Catan.
Oh yes, you should do that. I think that's a great idea.
Have little kitties you
will not get sued at all. Also, by the way, that and these panels are. Well, I'm telling you right now, that is full. However, sometimes people don't show up. So that just because it's full doesn't mean that you don't have an opportunity. You might have an opportunity to go there.
Check it out.
At the same time, there's going to be a game called Candy Squad. So check that out. Kyrie Stocks is running that game. Looks like there is still capacity to go in there, so check that out.
She's the co-owner of Loot and Loot. I love that.
Oh,
Loot.
that is cool.
Lute.
Candy Squad is a cooperative deck building game, so you should have fun with that. Next is Ches Geek.
It's
Shay Geek?
French. Shay Geek.
Shay Geek. Okay, Shay Geek. Check that out. Award-winning game of modern roommates, all looking for enough slack for the weekend. Sounds fun. Reminds me of my time when I was a young person in trying to get roommates. I don't know. I don't know what it does, but it's full anyway. You can't go in there. Well, it's limited. Next one is I remember this game. This is a good one.
We have a review of this.
We've actually played this game. Yeah, check out the review on on our Geeks of Cascadia. But Quacks of Quedlinburg.
The one, the Kinder something.
Yes, I love this thing. So you're adding ingredients and you're making like a potion, I believe, right?
I thought it was just about ducks.
It's not about ducks.
It's been so long since we talked about it. I don't know. I've never played it.
It's not about ducks. But anyway, check it out. It is full though, but who knows? Maybe perhaps you can get a chance to go in there. Next is, I love it how they're adding these games that I can't pronounce. What is it?
Apparitions. Is it about cats?
I don't think so. Apparitions is a lightweight tabletop game where you take on the role of a a household of kitties. I guess you're right. Wow,
It's
amazing.
a malevolent spirit kitty game. That's brilliant. I love that.
Interesting.
So there you go around the house, I imagine, knocking things off tables.
Unfortunately, it's full. But you never know. Sometimes people don't show up. So check that out. Next is a Star Wars. I don't know if it's a board game, but it says BSB. It's red. Oh, RPG. Sorry, RPG. Star Wars: The Dirty Hall Dozen. That is full, but again, it says drop-ins welcome, so you never know. Maybe you have an opportunity to go in there. Next is Alien Blood is Thicker. Alien Blood is Thicker. Life on a mining colony is designated to be boring, but when a relative shows up with a dark past, things can go boring and to deadly. So check that game out. That game is full, but again, as I say, just because it says full, you should stop by because you never know. D&D Bank Heist. So looks like that. So a little bit of D&D is going on there.
Yep, full, but go ahead and give it a try.
Yep. Next is speaking of heists in D&D. We played Waterdeep. It was a heist game. Yeah, that was fun.
It was very fun.
Yeah, it was a good game. I really enjoyed it.
Really fun aspects of that.
By the way, we also did a review of that.
Oh yeah, go back and
so check that out.
Yeah.
At 3:15, kickstarting your TTRPG. Check that out. That is a panel. Tanya's in there. So all of you out there having great ideas of some game you want to do and you want to kickstart it, go to that. Maybe we should go to that.
Maybe we should.
I mean, we always talk about new games, but we're just too lazy to actually do anything.
Also, it's full, but we can try.
It is full, but I bet you we know people we can get in there.
I bet, I know Tanya.
We're pretty good. Yeah, I know her. She likes me better than you.
We had breakfast this morning. I sat next to her.
Yeah, that's true, but she liked me better than you. I can't remember. Do I keep on going? Yes, I keep on going. That's right. Okay, next panel at 4:30. I think another good one for you up and coming.
This one's Bianca. I love Bianca. We did the PAX Prime, the Diversity Lounge together.
Oh, yes. So all of you up-and-coming game designers out there, check it out. Making role-playing games welcoming to new players. Check it out. We got, Still Paul said, we got Bianca, we got Omega Jones in there, Donna Pryor. Seems like a fun thing to go to.
Good panel.
And oh, by the way, it's not full, so
it's not
opportunity. Full. At 4:30, we also got Munchkin. Everyone loves Munchkin. I played Munchkin. Great, so check that out. You've not played Munchkin, or you don't care.
No one's ever played Munchkin with me. How could I possibly play Munchkin?
Oh, well, I played with my kids.
I didn't get to play D&D until 2016 because my friends were terrible.
Well, you were kind of mean. So next time... Next is we got Nemesis, so check that out. Nemesis is a semi-cooperative game in which you and your crewmates must survive on a ship infested with hostile organisms.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Hostile organisms. Maybe Omicron? Who knows? All right, next is Potions and Puppies. In Potions and Puppies, you will take on the role of a magical doggo who must discover and craft potions. Check that out. That is full, though. Those 3 games are full, but you never know. Drop in anyway. We've got a role-playing game. It looks like that's weird. Intro into role-playing games. Role-playing game?
It's a role-playing game about role-playing games?
Interesting. Whether you want to get into role-playing games or just want to see what all the fuss is about, this is for you. So using a quick-to-learn Amazing Tales game system. So anyway, check that out. It's limited. Still have openings for you, so check that out.
Can I touch your mouse?
You can touch my mouse. So I am throwing it over to Still Paul. Go ahead.
Okay. We've also got decolonizing RPG design. So I imagine that's about colonialism, and I just clicked the wrong button.
Yes, that is a panel.
It's a panel. Okay, yes, it's about TTRPGs have a history of colonization, which is like the worst thing mankind has ever done. And so this is showing you how to not do that in your RPG. I think that's a great thing. And this is like a swear word. Another blanking fetch quest at 7 p.m. Another blanking fetch quest is a fast, fun, fantasy-themed card game in which each player selects a character with unique stats and abilities, and takes turns compiling quests on cards. That sounds wonderful. Also, the Curse of the Crystal Finger is getting limited, so you might want to sign up for that. Oh, I skipped one, didn't I?
You did.
Okay, that's
Not so superheroes.
I'll go back. The Curse of that's hard to say. The Curse of the Crystal Finger. Can our heroes return a cursed artifact to Mars before it destroys humanity? No pressure. Also, there is a not so superheroes system. Fate Accelerated. You are a group of regularish people trying to become superheroes. It looks like you're about to get your chance. How will you do? Your presenter is Dean Keith. He's been around a while. I think I've read his name a number of times. And we have
Paranoia.
I haven't been experiencing that recently at all. That's like an ongoing game. It's like I said to you earlier, we have this special new game we're playing at Orcacon, which is called Pandemic, the full size, the Omicron expansion.
I think we're winning.
I hope we're winning.
So,
greetings, troubleshooters. Friend computer needs your help to find trouble in an alpha complex and shoot it. Okay, I like that. Oh my goodness, we've got Car Wars 6th Edition. Who's this Marcus?
Wow, that is not Greg Pratt.
That's not Greg Pratt.
Interesting. Okay.
Maybe it's his friend. It's probably regular size. Get larger 3D cars. Nope, he's doing the same thing. I bet that's his friend that hangs out with him. So Car Wars, that's not the tournament. It's just a fun game.
Yep.
And it's full, but stop by. People drop out. We keep saying that. We should stop saying that. And boy, there's a lot going on at 7. Dread, happy birthday. System is Dread, obviously. Life is perfect. The world is perfect. This birthday party is perfect. The food is perfect. Everything is perfect, except things truly are not what you thought they were. That sounds kind of like fun. Dream Team, The Sky is Falling. That's limited, so get on sketch. That's a D&D 5e system.
Oh!
By Black Shield.
That's pretty cool.
In the Ravenloft domain.
I love it.
You should sign up for that. I think that sounds good. Takes place on a floating city. Also, Under a Pale Sky, D&D 5th edition. Does it say who runs this? No, after a local ranger and werewolf hunter is viciously murdered, a collection of hunters gathers in the village of Oakcrest to find the terrible beast that slew him. That's by Alexander Cummings.
Cool. There's a lot of D&D games. That's pretty
awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. That's great. We usually don't have room for that.
Yeah.
That's perfect. We've also, this is still 7 o'clock. Wow.
Yeah.
Secrets of the Grey Wastes. I almost said Wales because I'm blind. The town of Datham is located in the gray desert wastes of Kinnar. Puddles of salt water have begun to bubble up from below the sands near the town. The town's growing restless and scared. It will be up to you to find out what's going on. And then with Brendan Quinn, we've got Stone Top. It's filling. Sign up now. No one knows how the stone got there, nor what the runes cut into its surface might mean. Few can even recount how the village sprang up around it. Most take the stone for granted as the heart of their little settlement and an anchor that holds them. This is really weird. Fast at the edge of the known world. When a storm sweeps in across the flats, the stone pulls lightning down from the clouds like, well, nothing else at all. Well, outsiders might cower before the deafening display. The residents, this is too long. But
it's too long. Can you scroll down? I was wondering what system it is, if it even says what system it is. Huh, interesting. Well, wait, all the way down. Could you scroll
all the way down?
Yeah. Doesn't say what system, but I'm sure it'll be fun. So check it out.
No experience required. It's run by Brendan Quinn, 4 players, and it's in Skyview. It's on the 2nd floor?
I don't know.
3rd floor? That's the one with all the windows. It gets loud in there. That's the end of 7 o'clock. Holy smoke. A lot going on at 7. Then the last scheduled event of the night is Great Western Trail 2nd Edition. Yeehaw!
It's a tabletop game.
It's a tabletop game. It's about wrangling your herd of cows across the Midwest prairie and delivering it to Kansas City. This is a Euro game designed by Alexander Feister, I'm going to say. who designed, can you read that? Maracaibo, Isle of Skye, from Chieftain to King, and more.
Yeah.
The
there you go.
presenter is Harwin Dong.
All right.
So yeah, but of course there's going to be free play.
Yeah.
after
Oh,
that.
all over.
And we've got game libraries everywhere.
Yeah,
We've got the Play to Win library.
Mhm.
We've got our library. We have a kids library.
Yeah.
Isn't
And
it?
a lot of people bring their own games.
And
I brought a ton of games.
I brought a ton of games.
So really, I mean, it's going to be fun. You just come in here. You don't, if you don't have to sign up for a game to play a game, right? You can just play a game.
Yeah.
Also, if you came here and you're like, man, I don't have anyone to play with, we have little things that you can bring with your table to show everyone.
Yeah.
I need a player.
I want to play with people.
And we've got people that will play with you.
Yeah.
So come on down. There's no excuse. Get a room. Have fun.
I mean, look at the weather. It's just boring and cold.
Yeah, you don't like it. I mean, just come here.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
W. Hilton.
Yep. I think that's all we got for the day. Join us every day as we do this, as we prep your day for you.
Exactly.
So listen to us. We're going to try to do, again, we'll do this every day. We will tell you the schedule, what's going on, the highlights. And we'll try to get it posted like the night before, so that you can listen to the night before or in the morning as you're getting up, getting ready to enjoy the con.
Yes.
And if you're wondering where Rebeculus is, she will be joining us.
She will be joining us, yes,
and
tomorrow.
Perhaps a new special guest on Friday, but we'll see
Yes,
who that
we'll
is.
see, yes.
But with that, that's
Stay
all I've
tuned.
got.
All right, that's all I have.
All right. Well, embrace the nerd, and I hope you make that saving throw.